Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Apparently a Juventino is not allowed to smile. From the moment that you are thinking again on the field, about your players, about the next gen product, about Ealing Jr. scoring a fantastic goal, his first one in Serie A, you are thinking again about the rebirth of Vlahovic, you are dreaming about going to the final of Europa League and maybe lifting silverware, and you know, these lips, they start to go like that. You see a mini smile, a bigger smile, a bigger smile. From that moment, when you are in the moment to forget everything that is surrounding Juve in a really difficult season, they are knocking at the door. They are not even asking permission. They just enter your home and they take away your smile. This is what happened today. Because we were waiting for the motivation of the Coni, today they have been published. We know what happened with these minus 15 points, and I will try to explain you the consequences for this season, but also for the future. So, if you want to, make me a pleasure, especially if you love the Juventus community, put a maximum of like on that video, because how more you like the video, more that video will be pushed by the algorithm of YouTube, and more Juventini will be reached, and they will understand the situation that I will try with my words to make it a bit more clear. Thank you, really appreciate it. So let's start. I am not a lawyer. The motivation has been published 75 pages. That's a lot. I tried to read not all of them because it's difficult. Again, I am not a lawyer, but I was able to do a recap and I will try to explain. To put into context, on the 20th of January, 15 points were taken away from Juventus. 15 points because not of plusvalenza, because until the day of today, there is no rule against profit cases about the value, the real value of a player. But Juventus was taken back 15 points, while 9 were requested initially. 15 were taken back for Article 4. What is Article 4? You know it already on the channel. Disbehavior or disloyalty, about sporting disloyalty, not respecting the code of conduct of Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio. You can put everything there. If you can't justify one specific thing, you put it in Article 4. You don't respect the sport loyalty, so that means that you will be punished. And that's why we were punished with minus 15. Juventus went into appeal, and then we made a live here. We were waiting for the answer on the 19th of April. We had to wait one day more, 20th of April, 3 months. 3 months where Juventus didn't know if they were playing the relegation with Sampdoria, that unfortunately for the historic club as Sampdoria today, officially they are relegated in Serie B, or if they were fighting for top 4, Milan, Inter, Roma, Lazio, Atalanta, whatever team you want to, not Napoli, because on the field, with the ball, they showed that they were stronger than every single team in Serie A. We didn't know, and it was quite difficult because mentally, yes, there was an impact on the Juventus player. Absolutely yes. So already the Serie A was distorted. It was already not a really clean Serie A. These 15 points were given back on the 20th of April. A lot of Juventini were jumping in the air. We made a live because we were waiting for a decision on the 20th of April. 3 possibilities. 1, confirmation of the 15 points deduction. That means bad news. Minus 15. The dossier is closed and it is like it is. You lose these 15 points because you have been punished. 2, cancellation of the 15 points deduction. That means you receive these 15 points back and they are for you, again, as you won them on the field. Or the third one, what I was really fearing, postponing and escalating the problem to someone else, to the Federal Court of Appeal. And they would have 30 days to come back with motivations and with a new decision. Everything could happen there. Well, this is what happened. I remember that day, a lot of Juventini on social media, but also in the chat live, they were jumping in the air, they were smiling, they were happy, 15 points back, they were looking again at the ranking of Serie A. Juventus is again 3rd or 2nd, I don't remember what the consequence was of receiving these 15 points. In the meanwhile, Juventus lost a few games in the month of April. They won other ones in the month of May. At the moment, we are finally again 2nd with 66 points in the ranking of Serie A. Well, 75 pages. I am not a lawyer, but I try to make a recap of what is happening. Well, apparently, the motivations are from the Federal Court of Appeal that the system has been defined really solid. And Article 4 remains. Juventus will have a new penalty. Within 30 days of the new ruling of the Federal Court of Appeal will be made. So shortly, we will know about a new penalty. that new penalty, I don't know, can be 15, can be 9, can be 6, can be 3. There will be. So 0, no. Can be 1, can be 16, can be 17. I have no idea. The only thing that they revised in that court of appeal is one thing, that the motivations were not really clear from the prosecutor. So they will rework them, they will reformulate them, but Juventus will be punished, okay? What are the consequences of that? That at the moment we are still in uncertainty. Gazzetta dello Sport, they started again, immediately, with a big bet. We think that Juventus will receive -9. -9. Look at the ranking of Serie A at the moment. Juventus second with 66, 64 for Lazio, 63 for Inter, 61 for Milan, 58 for Atalanta, 58 for Roma. Take away 9 points with 4 games to play. Where is Juventus? 7th. 7th with 57. That means out of the European competition at the moment. We continue. What are the consequences? Article 4 remains. And that's really a pain in the ass, because you can't defend yourself against Article 4. Juventus, they can't appeal against that decision. They could appeal the first time. They can't appeal against the Federal Court of Appeal. What can Juventus do eventually is going to TAR. TAR is the Regional Administrative Tribunal, the court. Okay? This is not anymore the sporting side of justice. Here we are speaking about administrative, the legal, the law, the country justice. But there is a problem. These guys there, they can revise the project. It takes really long. They can check again all the dossier from A to Z, but they can't change the points anymore. Points are given, are deducted by the sporting justice. They can intervene in terms of fees, penalties. Juventus, if winning and going to TAR, they can potentially win money back because of this has happened, the dirt on the name, on the brand, it was false accusation, whatever you want to, but no points. So for Serie A, it's a big problem. The other consequences are that, and I always told you, UEFA, Seferin, they are waiting. They are waiting for the Italian justice, sporting justice, to pronounce themselves, to go with the final decision. Only from that moment, and you remember I told you, if Italian justice is not coming out with a verdict in the end of the month of July or June or July, they will have to step forward and take a decision by themselves because they have to organize their competition. Well, they were waiting for it. And now that apparently, and it's written black and white, Juventus, the Article 4 remains, the punishment on Article 4, they can go with a real punishment if they want to. I don't know what will happen, but if they want to, of course, they are allowed to ban Juventus from European competition. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I have absolutely no idea. But they are allowed because if you're punished for not respecting disloyalty of the sporting side, Article 4, well, this is a problem. This is a big problem where UEFA can easily say you didn't respect your competition. That means that you qualified for a European competition and we ban you. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. Now, I explain you what I felt since the beginning, and I already explained it on the channel, my feeling. And it's again, not the feeling of a professional, of an expert, of a lawyer, but someone that is just trying to think logically. I never doubted, or I was never scared that Juventus would have gone in Serie B for one reason. If Juventus goes in Serie B, Serie A, that is already losing a lot of money, well, you lose even more. Broadcasting rights, television, marketing, Juventus, the attendance to the stadium of what Juventus is changing and bringing in also to the other football stadium. So keeping Juventus in Serie A is a big benefit for Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio because they can use the name of Juve. How many million fans are we around the world? So I have never been scared of that. So with that punishment, they keep Juventus in Serie A, but without European competition on the field or because of UEFA, well, the financial impact is really huge for Juventus. For 1 season, for 2 seasons, or for 3 seasons, it can be really a total disaster. Also playing, knowing that you are not participating in the next European competition is really hard. Then, of course, the attractivity of the club. If it's 1 year, you can still convince some players from 2 years on, it's really hard to convince some players to stay in your club, but especially to attract new players. Forget about the Grimaldo, Pau Torres, the Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, or whatever player you wanted to attract. Because 1 year, the ones that are already there, they can close an eye, they can say, okay, we stay, we know it's for 1 year, next year we qualify and we go in Champions League. We try to go in Champions League. If it's 2 seasons, also the one that you have, at a young career, because the career of a football player is really short, well, they can potentially leave. And I can maybe even understand them. Then you will see, of course, the acts of love of a Fagioli, of a Locatelli, etc., etc. Well, due to the fact that you are losing money, that you are less attractive, what is happening, what is the consequence? You are less competitive also in Serie A, which make it also really more difficult to qualify for the next competitions of the Europe. Big snowball effect, really big one. They try to punish Juventus, keeping Juventus in Serie A. This is my opinion as a fan without knowledge of law and so on and so on. Let's see how it will go. Let's see how many points they will take away from Juve. Let's see what UEFA will decide for the next season. Then you will tell me, because this is something I saw online as well, we have to win the Europa League. Because if they take us away points from Serie A, thanks to the Europa League, we will qualify. No. No. Because even winning the Europa League, UEFA is still waiting for, or now that they have the verdict, they can still say, no, you don't go. Do we have to continue to play? Do we have to continue to watch Serie A? Do we have to win and try to win that Europa League? Absolutely yes, for one reason. Because if they ban you from European competition for 1 year, if you qualify already this year, well, it counts mathematically, and then from next year you can play. If you don't qualify for European competition this year and you have the ban, well, it doesn't count. It starts counting only from the moment that you qualify. So it could be that you are there out of the competition, even with 1 year of punishment, out for 2 seasons. Disaster. So unfortunately, we'll have to play, we have to qualify, winning that top 4 in Serie A, but also trying to win the Europa League to avoid any surprises. Juventus has a mission and we have to do it. Again, these are my thoughts. At the moment, nothing is certain about UEFA, about how many points we will be deducted. But one thing is sure, the system is defined as solid and Article 4 remains. Juventus will have a new penalty. Guys, this was it. I try to keep it short. I try to speak slowly to try to explain you. If you still have some doubts, we will try to speak about it maybe tomorrow, another day, on a live, taking time to explain better. But review the video and let me know in the comment if you have some questions so that I can explain a bit better. Grazie. But before closing, if you are still there, you see this? We will have it again. You see the Coppa Italia? We will have it again. You know why I have put this shirt? Because even in a black moment like that, a dark moment like that, Juventus will always be the gold of Italy, and we will be back winning some gold. Some gold because we are a club that deserves all that silverware here on the shirt. Juve.